Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Tori if you're new here, and today I'm going to be showing you some preservation for the winter to come. I have things in the garden. I have things that I got on sale at Kroger. I have things that I've just been waiting to store, but it is all across the board. We have freezer meals, we have canning recipes, we have dehydrated foods. Really, I do just about everything except freeze dry. And then I'm kind of new to this, but I do have a vacuum sealer that I am taking old jars and then storing like pasta and things like that, and then taking the air out of that with the vacuum sealer attachment. So I'm going to attempt to do that, and we're going to take you along today. So I know a lot of us do all different kinds of things in the kitchen, so try and keep an open mind. If you have any questions about recipes or anything like that, go ahead and drop that in the comment box down below, and we are going to get right into today's video. Thanks for being here. We are spending quite a bit of time outside before we head on in and do all of the cooking and preserving, so our ducks are just going to town. Wednesday has been hopping out of this pool, so I have to sit like directly next to her. She'll follow me if I have insects though, so I'll find a cricket every now and again, but it still makes me feel bad to watch a cricket die, if you're questioning my empathy. But I do have the chicks over here. I've just been moving them around. They love finding little worms, bugs, ants, really anything they can get their hands on, but it will take quite a bit of time to do some of these recipes, and that is my big thing. I'm stuck here, so one second. When I'm preserving, I don't have a lot of time to dedicate to this. I am a stay-at-home mom, so I like to dedicate that time, the awake time, to the kids. Wilder really loves to help. So does Delilah, but she's more interested in coloring and things like that, which is sweet. But I don't have a lot of time. So these batches that I make, they may be small, but we are building up a stock, if that makes sense. So I'm excited to keep things on the cheap. I'm excited to start canning more of my produce. This is definitely the first time ever really that I have had quite a bit of vegetables from the garden, so I'm really excited about that. And I've just been researching so many different ways on how to dehydrate, freeze dry. I mean, all of these things. I mean, freeze dryers right now, I saw one on sale for $2,600, and that's actually pretty good. It's not something that I am going to invest in, but I use my freezer. It's tried and true. A lot of prepping people just steer against that. They are just prepping for this grid down, and I understand that. That is why it would be more beneficial to us to get a generator right now for the cost, as opposed to the freeze dryer if we are going to make that big purchase, if that makes sense. So that is the plan today. I love doing these little small batches and bringing you along. Let me know what you're preserving, and let's get right into the kitchen. So in this video, I do have 3 recipes for you, and they are all going into the freezer. I will be doing different kinds of videos like this in the coming weeks as things come into the garden. I have some potatoes here. I am just rinsing them with some vinegar and cold water. We are making pierogi. Surprise, surprise. A lot of people were interested in that recipe when I shared my meal plan yesterday. So into the dough, we have some yeast, a little bit of warm water, and then a touch of agave. I'm trying a new recipe. I don't typically use yeast in my dough for pierogis, but I wanted something crispier and a little puffier, I guess, more dough to potato ratio. And then all I'm doing is peeling them and putting them in some boiling water. I'm going to let that go with a little bit of salt for around 20 minutes, and then I am going to mash these potatoes. The yeast mixture sat covered for around 10 minutes, and then it was ready to go. So I'm putting some fresh rosemary from the garden, a little bit of sea salt, and some garlic powder into the base of this, and then I'm going to start to add my flour. So I am using my KitchenAid this time. I just decided to get it out. We will be doing a lot of fall and winter baking, and it needs to be more accessible. I did put a splash of olive oil in here, and I ended up adding 3.5 cups total of regular flour. You could use whatever you want in this recipe, but I did end up also adding 3 tablespoons of pumpkin puree because it was in the refrigerator and I didn't want it to go to waste here, but it is not necessary. You could put an egg here. You could do an egg replacement like applesauce or even a flax egg. It's really up to you, but I'm gonna let that rise for about 40 minutes. I'm just gonna prepare the potato mixture and it should be good to go, good to roll out. The potatoes are ready to be mashed. I have a half stick of the Miyoko's butter in here and then half a package of the Simple Truth plant-based cream cheese, but you can use whatever you want. I tend not to use liquids with my pierogi dough. I need a more stiff consistency that I can move around. You will see when I start assembling these that you're going to need to maneuver that little ball of potato, but I love having my helper in here. He truly is just so intrusive, but a good intrusive. He inquires a lot. He has so many questions and his curiosity is really inspiring. So this particular batch made 46 pierogi, but you could do, different things with this. So it really depends on how you work in your kitchen, but generally you're going to get at least 40 to 50 here. And then we did have some leftover mashed potatoes, and I took the opportunity to go ahead and make a batch of gnocchi. So I do have this on my little cutting board here, and I'm going to end up adding flour to it. I'd say probably a cup, 3/4 of a cup, but I'm just rolling out and then I divide it into fours, roll those in little tubes, and then I end up just cutting them to my desired gnocchi shape, and they will do the same thing that the pierogis will do, but you put them in a pot of boiling water, wait for them to rise, although the pierogis did not do that this time, I'm assuming because of the yeast. So I just watch them, wait for them to puff up, and then I put them on a baking sheet. You can flash freeze both of these before putting them in your freezer bags. It really depends on what you want to do here. I ended up flash freezing the gnocchi, and then I did not do that with the pierogi. So we'll see. I feel like it's an experiment every time, but it's fun. It's an edible experiment.
A new place, a new home, for a while, let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back, take my time, just enjoy the ride. A new man passing by, life is good, best I've ever felt. Get me up, somewhere new, somewhere I can find.
I am showing you some real life here. When it comes to big days in the kitchen, it just gets so messy. You can clean as you go, that's so important, but even with doing that, and 2 toddlers in the kitchen, that's what we had. So it ended up making 4 bags of pierogi here with 10 in each, and then we had some for dinner. And then you might have saw in the background there, I do have some chicken in the crock pot, and I am attempting to rebel can that, so wish me luck with that. Moving on, we found some cake mixes for 23 cents at the salvage store here, the Save-A-Lot, I think it's what it's called, I'm not sure, but I thought that was a killer deal. We typically are not eating a lot of cake, so we are making some cookies. I love having cookies in the freezer because you can just pop them right in the oven whenever you want. They don't take up too much room, and you can do a lot with this. So right now we have a vanilla cake mix. We added 2 eggs. You could use flax if you wanted here, and then we added half a cup of a neutral oil. We used olive oil. I know that's not too neutral, but we tried. And then we ended up adding 1 cup of blueberries because they were also on sale. So I'm going to scoop these out and make them into little balls. I cook them at 350 for around 12 to 15 minutes. You really have to check on these because the bottoms tend to burn. No, it does not help to put it in the refrigerator and keep the dough chilled. It's how my oven is, to be honest with you. So you just have to keep your eye on these. You could frost them and then put them in the freezer. I've done that, but there are a variety of different ways that you could go here. Just Google or search in YouTube cake box cookies and it will give you a great recipe. So I like to keep them in these Dollar Tree little containers here. All you have to do is label the container, pop them in the oven out of the freezer at 350 for around 5 to 10 minutes, and then you have some warm cookies. Or of course you could use the microwave and then accompany this with some warm vanilla ice cream. I am not a sweets girl, but these are actually pretty good, and typically the Betty Crocker cake mixes are going to be vegan. I'm showing you how the gnocchi turned out. I just flash freeze them on this plate and then broke them up into little pieces. And this is making 2 portions. And then we bulk this up with a lot of vegetables, some sort of meat or beans, and some sort of sauce. We do, enchilada style. We do like a cream sauce. We do marinara. We do pumpkin sauce. I've put it in chili to thicken it up, but this is great, really easy to make, and super budget friendly. And then we ended up doing a batch of those pierogis just to test the crust. I will say they're a little bit crispier, so it kind of gives you like a deep fried feel. I did some olive oil and some onion, and then that was it. So there's like the other side of it. I think these are going to be delicious, and it's just a different kind of take on pierogis. Okay, that was a big day. Everything is done. I'm back outside with chicks and ducks round 2, enjoying some pasta salad, but I think we got a lot done. I'm super excited about what we got accomplished. Of course, I can't do, preserving for an entire year for the, in one video, but I'm going to continue to do little videos like this that show me preserving in batches, if that makes sense. So I hope you enjoyed it. Stay adventurous, stay creative, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye, everyone.